editor of the Totonac Telegraph. Dave?
Okay, we're going to start with Judge Baker. Let's start with some 3 minutes for introductions.
Oh, 3 minutes for, you're right, 3 minutes for introductions. And the first candidate is?
Let's start with Judge Baker.
With Judge Baker.
Thank you. I am Joel Baker. It's a pleasure to be here tonight, and it's been my honor to serve as your county judge for the last 7 years. We've met some challenges over the years, but we have met those challenges with wise financial planning, with good policy, and Smith County is now thriving. Over the last 7 years, we've had almost $245 million of new business investment in Smith County, and over the last year alone, almost $65 million in new business investment. I'm a longtime Smith County resident. I was adopted and brought to Tyler by my parents, CeCe and Brenda Baker, when I was about a week old. I'm a product of Tyler Schools, Tyler Junior College, Texas A&M University, and South Texas College of Law. I'm a former felony prosecutor, a trained mediator, a lawyer with 8 years in private practice and the law firm I founded. I've got advanced training from the Texas A&M University's V.G. Young Institute of County Government and Texas Tech's Institute of Governmental Finance. I'm board certified in juvenile law. I sit as a commissioner on I was appointed by the Texas Supreme Court on the State Commission on Judicial Conduct. I'm active in the community. I'm a product of my parents' upbringing who taught me great lessons of service to the community. I'm an active member of Marvin United Methodist Church, where I worship with my wife Melanie, and I've been married 19 years, my 3 children, Coleman, Mallory, and Griffin, who are not here tonight. Melanie is, but my kids decided they've had enough of the election season. I believe in limited government, balanced budgets, taking care of public infrastructure, good public policy, maintaining low taxes, local control, and working together. I'm proud of my 7-year proven and successful record in my role as county judge. We've had many successes in transparency. The county began digital video recording and posting online of the county commissioners' court meetings, our budget and financial documents, our check registers, and all of those types of things are online for your review. I'm proud of the Striving for Excellence program that began in 2010 that defines our commitment to the community. It's been a culture change for county government. It defines our mission and core values of honesty, integrity, concern for others, excellence in service, professional conduct, and a positive attitude. It's led us to management by a professional team of employees for the county. And those employees will now move forward for Smith County in a positive manner, regardless of political changes, because that new culture is what is expected and demanded by Smith County citizens. Most importantly, the biggest change in county government is that we now work together. We're civil, professional, and more efficient. We have ended decades of merely treading water to a time of good, positive change for the county. I'm honored to serve as your county judge, and I want to do that for an additional term, and I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Mr. Gray.
Good evening. It's a great honor to be here and participate in this process. After spending 31 years in the military, I feel it's the military that has preserved this process and made this country great as it is. And while I mentioned about the veterans, we now make up about 20% of Smith County. I'm a 6th generation East Texan. My pioneer family settled in the United States prior to the Revolutionary War. My wife Tracy and I live in White House, between White House and Bullard. Too close? Okay, how am I doing now? And we attend Bridlewood Church. I live in the county. My wife and I have been married 28 years. As I mentioned, I served 31 years in the United States Army, culminating in the rank of Major General. I played a central role in operations throughout the world. Matter of fact, I've been on every continent in the world except Antarctica, and I volunteered for that and was turned down. I'm a graduate of the United States Army War College. I have 2 master's degrees. I have a master's degree in business administration from LeTourneau University in Longview and a master's of science from Kansas State University. I believe that Smith County needs a county judge with a financial and accounting background and not an attorney, and one experienced in long-range planning. In addition to my master's degree in business administration, I'm a certified public accountant and a certified fraud examiner. I'm an owner of an accounting and tax service firm here in Tyler, Texas. I'm experienced in non-routine forensic and investigative accounting, business management and development, profit loss control, and more importantly, strategic planning. The duties of the county judge include that of the budget officer for development of the budget, for which county services are funded through our property taxes, our sales taxes, and fees that are collected. I believe in limited government, and that means that government is not the solution to nearly any problem. Just like our viewers, I'm fed up with the government nonsense. Our pocketbooks are always the solution to any problem. Smith County government says it will spend $87 million this year, but we have no written plan for that, how we want to be 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. To run this county right, we need a plan that identifies and sets spending priorities. Then we need to produce the highest quality service at that very price. I'm prepared to do this. My team building military experience and my financial and accounting background will provide get the job done type leadership. Action, accountability, and leadership. Thank you.
All right, and answer the questions for Dave Barry, the editor of the Tallahassee Telegraph. Dave?
All right, let's start with Judge Baker. Mr. Baker, most Smith County citizens come into contact with county government in two ways: roads and taxes. Let's take those separately. First, what can be done about the condition of Smith County roads?
Thank you, Mr. Baker. The county is currently looking at hiring a consultant to give us a broad overview of what needs to be done on the county roads for the next 5 to 10 years. We were victim, just like any other community, to the financial downturn of recent years. We lost our county engineer. Because of that, we sort of went from a mode of rebuilding to a road of maintenance only. We had to do that to maintain positive balance book, checkbook. So to move forward, the county is now coming out of that phase. We're able to move forward with some bigger projects. We're able to end some neglect in county facilities and in county infrastructure and in some of the operations. And we're moving towards hiring a county engineer. We've recently interviewed one. We hope to hire that person in the coming weeks. But we are also going out, and it's been advertised today, for requests for qualifications from engineering firms who can do a detailed study of all of our county roads and tell us what needs to be done, how to address the county road problem, and how much it's going to cost. And then we can develop a financial plan to pay for it.
Okay, Mr. Furlow, can you answer the same question? Basically, what can be done about the conditions of Smith County roads?
First of all, we spent $7.1 million last year on road and bridge, and we're not sure what we did. This year in 2014 budget, we have roughly $1 million devoted to road and bridge in this county. We don't know what we've accomplished. In 2008, there was a study done that showed that 65% of our roads were either bad or worse. We have no master plan. We're spending money based on reaction rather than planning. There needs to be a master plan. There should have been a master plan 8 years ago when Judge Baker took office. You start with an assessment of your roads. We don't know how bad we are. A few years ago in 2008, we figured it was $17 million to correct our roads. We know with the prices that price has definitely increased. So first of all, we need to have an assessment. We need to, based on that assessment, we need to have a plan. Right now, we have no county engineer on board. Now, all the while this was going on, Judge Baker was giving himself pay raises. He gave himself pay raises after he first took office, and then his second term, he gave himself a second pay raise while we were cutting monies to road and bridge, not having a county engineer, and definitely not having a plan. So the $8.1 million we have dedicated in FY14 are going to be spent, as the study showed in 2010, on a reactionary basis, because that's how our road and bridges are fixed in this county today. As county judge, I will get a master plan in place. I will get a county engineer in place. And I assure you, everybody in the county will know where their portion of their county roads are on that priority list.
Okay, thank you. Next question from Roy Maynard. Roy?
And this is something of a follow-up question. We'll start with Mr. Furlow. Let's be specific. Do you feel that enough tax money is spent on the roads, and would you be in favor of raising taxes if the revenues were dedicated to the roads?
Let me make it clear, I'm against raising taxes. Because what's happened is in our government at all levels, whether it be local, state, or federal, that always seems to be the first answer. My thought of it is that we need to go back and do an analysis of where we're at. We need to do an assessment of our 1,189 miles of roads that we have in this county and our 140 bridges to know how bad we are. Because I think if we have this plan, and then we have this county engineer that we hold accountable for making this work and moving this money properly, we don't have to raise taxes. So I'm against raising taxes for this type of purpose because, as I mentioned previously, we don't know what we're accomplishing with the county money and the taxpayer money that we're spending at this time.
Mr. Baker?
Well, we do know what we're doing with the money that's allocated to road and bridge now. We've been in a maintenance mode. We are trying to rebuild as many miles of county road as we can in this budget year. We're trying to address potholes. We're trying to maintain ditches. We're trying to maintain and repair bridges. Those are the things we're doing. We have a plan each year. It's out there. It's published every year what our road plan is. So the plan is there. You know, I've heard this $17 million figure that was allegedly thrown out in 2008 to correct all of our county road problems. Nobody on Commissioner's Court is aware of that number. They don't know where it came from. I know that one time in recent years, the former county engineer came to court and said, we could have done it for $17 million 8 years ago, but that was never brought to our attention, to my knowledge, or to the knowledge of many of the members of the Commissioner's Court who are sitting here today. That would be a great thing if we could take care of all those problems with $17 million today. I don't believe it could happen. But to do it, I'm not sure how you would pay for that, because to pay for $17 million in road improvements today without raising taxes means you take money from other departments. So you're going to take it from courts, you're going to take it from the sheriff's office, from the jail, law enforcement, from the DA's office. Where's it coming from? There's a limited number of dollars available. Every dollar is allocated, so it has to come from somewhere. I agree. County road problem is always going to be with us. We have to seek innovative financing structure. We've got to look towards the future. But we are coming out of a period of economic downturn where we spent over $19 million just housing inmates in other counties because we had a major jail crisis. So that was the problem that we've been dealing with over the last 9 to 10 years. We tried to hire a county engineer. At the time we went out to hire a county engineer to replace the former engineer, we couldn't find anyone qualified or who would be willing to work for the county. We're doing it again because we now have the money, we're moving forward, and we want to move forward in a rebuilding phase.
All right, so let's go to Dave. We're at the mark where we have 11 minutes left.
Mr. Baker, how did the Great Recession affect Smith County finances, and what steps did you take to mitigate the fiscal damage?
Well, it's already been referred to earlier. We cut about $8 million from the budget. We cut some employees, cut some positions that were vacant, and we planned wisely for the future moving forward. And we had to go through a period where we cut back employee benefits to the tune of $1 million per year, which we're saving now because we took employee match from the retirement plan where we matched before $2 to every $1 put in, where we took it down to $1, a 1-to-1 match. We're now back up to $1.25 because we found that we're starting to get some turnover because of our benefits. Our benefits are lower than the majority of the counties in the state of Texas. Out of 254, I believe, we're in the lowest 10% in terms of that retirement match. So we're looking at things like that. Those are the things we had to do when we dealt with the financial blows and hurdles that we had to overcome in 2010.
Mr. Furlow, how would you have handled the Smith County budget during those tough economic times, and would you have done anything differently?
I would have done some different things. First of all, what I would not have done in 2010, I would not have given myself a pay raise while I was laying off county employees and cutting county benefits. I would have taken a pay cut and shown by leadership and example that we all need to tighten our belt buckles and belts to make it through the tough times. I've been through tough times, not only on a personal standpoint, but also a professional standpoint, when times were tough. Those you folks may not be old enough to remember being in the military during the Carter administration. I assure you that times were tough during that period of time when you couldn't get any parts. We had to tighten our belts, and I've been able to tighten our belts, but the one thing I would not have done, I would not have given myself a pay raise. That is the big thing that I would not have done, and I was shown the leadership. And then secondarily, I would not have disenfranchised the veterans of this community. The 18,000 veterans, the Veteran Service Officer was, the Veteran Service Office was where some of the cuts were made. What would happen is that 13,000 benefit claims were made in the Veteran Service Office that previous year. They had elsewhere to go because that office at that time was decertified by the state, by the Texas Veterans Commission. So they had to go someplace, and I would not have cut it there. So in conclusion, we could have tightened our belts. I would have taken a pay cut as county judge. I would not have taken a pay raise. And then I would not have sacrificed our veterans because they preserved our abilities to assemble and things like we're doing tonight, and being able to preserve our freedoms of our Constitution. And it sounds like another example of politicians breaking their contract with the veterans of this country. Thank you.
Is there time for rebuttal?
Sure, go right ahead.
In 2007, the county had a salary study. The Commissioners Court members, including myself, were part of that study. We voted for pay raises for everyone in the county, including the county judge and Commissioners Court. We made a mistake. We changed the policy to accept raises while you're in office. Now, and I've accepted that mistake. I've asked for forgiveness. I've accepted full responsibility for doing it. I accepted the first year of that raise, and I waived the second two, gave $20,000 to the Workforce Investment Fund, and turned it back to employees and employee training. So this issue is a very old issue. It's a 7-year-old issue. In 2010, I did not accept a pay raise. I accepted a budgeted salary for the position of county judge, and anyone was free to run for that position. No one did. I accepted that salary as it stood in the budget. So you can call it a raise. It was an increase in salary, but it was the same budgeted amount that had been budgeted for several years. The Veteran Service Office has been served for many years. It did not have cuts that went through over the last several years. That office is fully run, is in force, and is taking care of veterans in this community, and always has.
Okay, I think we have time for one last question, then we'll get to closing statements.
Exactly. Because it wasn't addressed in the question about transportation, let's ask specifically, and we'll start with Judge Baker so you can explain it. But explain the tax reinvestment zone issue that came up recently and your position on it.
The TRZ is a mechanism that's authorized by the state legislature beginning in 2007 with new legislation that allows a county to form a corridor around an underdeveloped area and capture anything off from the baseline that rises in tax value. So when a property value increases over a period of time from the baseline year, the county can capture up to 100% of that and put it in a special fund that takes care of projects devoted to this fund. The TRZ, as proposed in Smith County back in November, would have taken a 50% increment for the corridor that was a 2-mile corridor all the way around the existing and proposed route of Loop 49, Toll 49. And the purpose was to take that 50% increase over the course of 25 years that would go towards the development of the segment 4B, I believe. I get confused about the segments, but it's the relief route around Lindale that goes from where Loop 49 hits I-20, carries it on around to Highway 69, just north of Lindale. The Commissioners Court has studied the plan. We're still looking at the plan. We're going to look at it some more. We believe that it needs to be modified from its original proposal, but we think that that's one way that the county can take care of the need to continue Loop 49. It doesn't result in higher taxes for anybody in Smith County. It merely captures taxes that would already be paid. One idea that's been proposed is to accept a portion of that tax increment that would go towards the TRZ and pay for Toll 49, match that fund and take care of county roads in a special fund dedicated to county roads. So those are some of the things we're looking at. We're very interested in innovative financing techniques, some methods that we can use to take care of problems in this community. Toll 49 has been a big success. It keeps transportation moving around the community. It's part of the reason that we've had $245 million in new investment in this community.
Mr. Furlow.
I'm against TRZ. Let me tell you why I'm against it. We don't know enough about it. We've not seen any numbers to determine whether it's good or bad. The city of Tyler a year or so ago ran away from it. City of Tyler does a lot of great things. They're ahead and innovative, moving ahead. The TRZ, and I have likened it, is to a situation of calling it Smith County's version of Obamacare. Others, we don't know what's in it. We don't know what it looks like. We don't know what it's going to do, but we're going to try to approve it because we think it looks good and it might be beneficial to the people down the road 20 years from now. The issue at hand, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that the state is messed up. They've got $21 billion of infrastructure debt that they're looking for somebody to pass that debt sharing service on to. And they're looking at the counties and the cities to pick up that share. We at this stage in Smith County need to become financially independent of the state and the federal government, so if times do become worse and they do become tough, that we're able to hold our own and become an example for the rest of the counties in this state. Because I assure you, Austin's not getting it right.
Is it time for a brief rebuttal?
Is it? Okay. Good job.
If the TRZ were like Obamacare, we would have voted for it without reading it, and we'd already be in the middle of it. We're not there. We're continuing to study this proposal, and we want to do something that's good for this community. That's why we backed off. We want to learn more. We want to make sure we make the right decision. As for weaning ourselves from state dollars, well, that's going to happen naturally. The state does not want to pay for all the things the state once did, so they give us unfunded mandates. We have to deal with our own problems. This is one of those areas. The TRZ, we've been told there's no state funding for these types of projects. If we want to move forward and not be stagnant in Smith County, we have to look towards tools like the TRZ to move forward in transportation. And that's what we're doing. We're just studying a tool that the state has given us to look at solving our own problems.
May I rebuttal?
Sure. Go right ahead.
The reason why that this was not voted by the Commissioners Court was because of the pushback and outrage by citizens of Smith County that there was not enough at this time. Having visited and sit in on Commissioner Court meetings, there was a distinct indication that this TRZ was going to get pushed through and approved with no indication. It was only until the pushback from the citizens of Smith County to a minimum table this and look at this and analyze this, because right now, in 2014, this is not the thing to do for Smith County.
Okay.
I can simply say that's not true.
Okay. We both got a chance twice on that one, gentlemen, so we're going to
So I
stop
guess the
the
paper got it wrong and said we were like-minded.
Well, let's talk together about that one. That brings us to the close of our question and answers, or the debate portion. Each candidate has 2 minutes now to wrap up their thoughts. Before we end this particular part of our debate, we begin with Mr. Furlow.
Thank you. My 31 years of military service sums up a life of commitment and service to others. If I'm elected county judge and have the honor to serve for you, it would always, in my heart, be about the citizens of Smith County and not about growing government or kowtowing to any special interest group that wants to influence me on my campaign through contributions and such. I've trained all my life for the position of county judge. As a matter of fact, this is one of the positions that military individuals gravitate to, and I know of 2 other counties that county judges are former retired military officers. My life has been shown as teamwork, helping people be the best they can, and financial and business background. Smith County is not what it can and should be because of a lack of decisive action, accountability, and business leadership. We're flying blind with no plan. The county judge position is better suited for an accountant with operational background than an attorney. It's time to elect someone who's prepared and capable of leading Smith County into the future. I am that person. Thank you for coordinating this debate, sir, and for the citizens of Smith County for tuning in and listening to us. Again, thank you for your support, and I'm John Furlow, and I'm a candidate for Smith County, County Judge of Smith County. Thank you. Good evening.
Mr. Baker.
Thank you. It's important to have good administrative skills, like my opponent has stated. It's also important to have legal training. because my job as county judge encompasses more than just the administrative. The administrative roles of the county judge comprises about 60% of my time. 40% of my time or more is spent handling judicial duties. I'm a trained lawyer. I know how to handle those things as well. In addition to the complex negotiation, contract negotiations, and other things that the Commissioners Court must deal with on a day-to-day basis. My training as a lawyer helps me with those things as well. Smith County has the 21st lowest tax rate in the state of Texas. 90% of Texas counties have a higher tax rate. We've been able to do that over the past 7 years, despite the fact that we've had the greatest economic downturn in decades. We've been able to do that despite the fact that we spent over $19 million on jail overcrowding over the last decade. We're solving those problems. It's a positive thing for this community. We want to continue to do that, and I'm asking for your continued support to re-elect me as county judge. Thank you for your time here tonight.
Thank you to both of our candidates. Before everyone gets up and leaves, we're